Many games in the past decade have attempted to create alternate endings and routes that dramatically change the story of a game, and to varying success. I still feel as if Undertale is one of the best when it comes to these games. One of the main themes of Undertale is its themes of morality and what it means to be a good person. Ironically enough, I feel like the character that conveys this theme the most is Flowey.
That's a wonderful idea!
Meet Flowey, a terrible force of nature whose entire goal is to kill you and take your soul. He's a liar, trickster, and kills people out of boredom. He's arguably one of the main antagonists of the game and is overall an evil person. So why do I think Flowey is a good representation of Undertale's themes? Well, to begin with, I feel as if we have to take a closer look into the mercy route of the game, also known as the pacifist route, where you decide to spare every monster you come across. For those of you who haven't played Undertale, there are two main mechanics when it comes to enemy encounters. 1. You can choose to fight the monster and kill them, or 2. Spare the monster and let them live. In most RPGs, this wouldn't matter. Fighting your enemies with violence has been the most accepted way of getting through battles in RPG games. Undertale is different. It's a game that repeatedly encourages you to treat every enemy with kindness. Let's list some examples. When you first fall into the underground, you're met with a friendly little flower named Flowey. Of course, as we know, Flowey isn't friendly, but he tries to convince you otherwise. He teaches you the basics of the game before encouraging you to run into his attacks. No matter what you decide to do here, he attempts to kill you. This is an immediate subversion of typical tutorial characters in games that out of the gate makes the player on the edge of their seat. Of course, after this, Flowey is interrupted by Toriel, who's the actual tutorial character in this game. This is where Undertale starts to show its pacifist themes. Toriel repeatedly encourages you to be kind and use the act button to deal with enemies. Acting allows you to talk with the enemy you're fighting and reason with them. She reinforces this idea if you choose to spare the dummy, where she will compliment you for trying to use kindness instead of violence. She's the first character in the game you grow attached to, which makes it all the more heartbreaking if you decide to kill her. This is why the pacifist route works so well, because you quickly grow attached to these characters and they feel like actual people you can meet in the real world. So when we go back to Flowey, it's easy to want to kill this guy. He's a heartless monster who just wants to hurt people. But is it possible to see the good in even the worst person? Well, Undertale answers this question in a very heartwarming way. After it's revealed that Flowey is the son of Asgore and Toriel, Undertale finally starts to click. Due to his lack of a soul, it was impossible for Asriel to keep the compassion that he once had, or really feel empathy for others. You genuinely feel bad for Asriel and start to sympathize with him. But this also creates a weird moral dilemma. How much of his terrible behavior was due to things outside of his control? Can all the blame truly be put on Asriel? This is a hard question to answer, so I decided to go into an Undertale Discord server and ask about people's thoughts, and well...
Very hard question to answer. I have no clue how you'll go about it.
Needless to say, I was conflicted. I couldn't even get a straight answer to this dilemma, but I think I found a good answer to this. You see, morality is a very subjective topic, of course. There are things that most people will agree are immoral, but in the very specific circumstance of a kid who dies and then comes back to life as a soulless monster, it becomes hard to give a take on this. In my opinion, I think it's important to treat Flowey and Asriel as two very different people. While yes, they are the same person, they have very fundamentally different worldviews that contrast each other very heavily. Flowey represents the cruel and immoral side that can be found in a genocide route, and Asriel represents the pure intentions of a pacifist route. To me, Flowey is a evil, disgusting person, while Asriel is your best friend, a heart full of gold. Of course, this is all very subjective, so I'd be interested in hearing people's thoughts in the comment section. Thanks for watching, and I hope all of you have a very good day.